Why hello there and welcome to this video where LEGO Ideas has announced the summer 2024 LEGO Ideas review, which the results will be coming in spring next year. There is a total of 35 products that have qualified and got 10,000 views between early May and early September. So without further ado, let's have a closer look at these 35 ideas. So first up we have Market Village by JK Brick. So this is a very complicated design of a market village that looks fairly set in medieval times and reminds me a lot of the medieval blacksmith that we had recently. With that being the case, will it get through? It could do, but as we've had a set in this kind of theme before, fairly recently, I doubt that it will. Next we have LEGO ZH1 working and functional 35mm film camera by Zug92. So this one is a pretty self-explanatory working 35mm camera, which again is very similar to the Polaroid camera that we've had fairly recently as well, and so in my opinion probably not likely to actually get made into a set due to having a similar set already released recently. Next we have Ting Ting Space Rocket by TKEL86. So this is obviously the space rocket from Ting Ting. It fits well into the sub-theme of space that LEGO has been doing fairly recently, so I'd say there is a good possibility that it might get made. Next we have Working Image Projector Magic Lantern by Norders. So this is obviously a working image projector. It looks a fairly straightforward build from the exterior, however I imagine there is a bit of complicated design work on the inside so that it can project actual images. This is a very interesting design and I could see it getting made into an actual product. Next we have Hydroelectric Power Plant by Baron von Baron. So this is another fairly complex design of a hydroelectric power plant. So obviously a power plant that creates electricity using water, similar to water mills. This has a lot of intricate design detail to it and does a very good job at recreating a power plant. But I'm not entirely convinced that this will be made into a set just based off how it just feels, really. Next we have Popcorn Machine by Dime X Art. So this is obviously a fairly simple popcorn machine that looks like it just rolls out the popcorn into a little basket on the side. I imagine it has some sort of motor function to it to make the popcorn spin around on the inside. And overall it's a very simple design, but it does feel something that LEGO Ideas would create. Next we have Wednesday, The Room and the Balcony by Airbricks 95. So this is obviously based on the TV series Wednesday, which is based on the Addams Family. I feel like we've had a few ideas based on this series fairly recently, so it might not have much of a chance if any of these other Wednesday themed sets don't get put through either. However, who's to say, and I might be entirely mistaken on this. Next we have Bob's Old Tugboat by Conjurer. So this is a tugboat design sat on dry land, so in dry dock, and is a rather complicated build with a lot of details packed in to the hull of the boat. But I don't overly see this as being a set that LEGO will do. It does feel very similar to the LEGO Jaws set that we got very recently, so it might not get through, but I'm not really sure on this one. Next we have Lisbon Tram Electro 28 by Mega Cautions Mula. So this is obviously a design of the tram system in Lisbon and seems to be kind of in a very modular sort of idea without any buildings. And I can see this being used as a way to increase a LEGO city and add detail to it. With that in mind, I'm not entirely convinced LEGO will create this as a set, as they seem to be really avoiding making modulars in LEGO Ideas, or things that can be put into a LEGO city. The 10th idea is Claw Machine by 2A2A. So this is a claw machine game like you would see in an arcade, where you try and grab Lego minifigures with the claw. This feels very similar to the recent Lego set that also features Lego minifigures being picked out of a arcade style box. So overall, probably not going to make it through this time, purely based on it being very similar to that other set. At number 11, we have The Tennis Match by Bricky Brick. This is an idea that centres around a tennis match with a little street view to the side. It does feel very much so, again, like a modular build or a Lego City additional build. So I don't really see Lego going for this as an idea, as they seem to be avoiding, as previously stated, modulars and Lego City inspired build. But overall, a very nice design, and I would have thought, given its name, it would focus more on the tennis court aspect rather than the street aspect, but here we are, and that is not to say this is bad, but hey ho. Next we have the Pioneer CDJ 2000 Nexus Multiplayer by Tomasco. So this appears to be a soundboard like build that is designed around the Nexus multiplayer. It is very detailed and does a very nice job at recreating all the buttons and knobs that would be featured on a device such as this, but overall, again, not something I can really see Lego going for as a real set. Next we have Blacksmith Wild West by Lucky. So, as the name very clearly shows, this is a blacksmith shop based in the Wild West. I can pretty much rule this out as being made, as we've had a medieval blacksmith very recently, and this just feels too similar to this idea to be made in its own right. However, the set idea is very detailed and does a very good job at creating the woody style that the Wild West is known for. Next we have Wallace and Gromit, A Grand Day Out by Varco. So this is an idea that is based on the Grand Day Out animated movie of Wallace and Gromit. It does a very good job at recreating the rocket that we see Wallace build throughout to get to the moon, and does a very nice job at recreating the moon robot that is present. I very much so like this idea, and I can see it as an idea that Lego would go for, particularly seeing as a new Wallace and Gromit movie is coming out fairly soon, and so we're tying well to this. Next we have Italian Riviera by Lego Paradise. So this is obviously an Italian street, kind of like what you would see in Venice. This is a very modular build again, stroke a very scenic city build, and something that Lego hasn't really been going for. However, it uses very bright colours and does a very good job at recreating an Italian sort of street, and uses a lot of interesting techniques to create these different slopes and the styles of the roofs and so forth. At number 16 we have the Humpback Whale Breach by 2x4. So this is obviously a humpback whale bursting out of the sea, and is very similar to many classic pictures you see of humpback whales. It does a very good job at creating the smooth sort of finish that humpbacks have, and seems to be quite a nice compact little build for the amount of detail that is in it. It is obviously a very nice display piece, but can I see Lego going for it? It's possible, but probably not likely, I would say. Next we have New Holland CR Combine by Yellow Style. So this is obviously a build of a combine harvester, and does a very good job at creating all the details you would see on a build such as this. I would imagine this is rather a technical build and uses a lot of Technic pieces, particularly around the combine area and possibly on the inside of the main truck area as well. For this reason, it would more fit into Lego Technic than it would into Lego Ideas, so it's potentially for that reason not going to get made into a set itself. Next we have Impressing Sunrise Monet by Hunshimyoyu. So this is obviously a design based around the Monet painting Impressing Sunrise. For this reason, it is very unlikely to get made into a set, as Lego are doing classical paintings in their own separate theme, rather than in Lego Ideas itself, as part of the Lego Arts theme, and so probably very unlikely to get made into a set. Next we have Modular Post Office in Neoclassical Style by Uber Toys. And as the name suggests, this is a modular build, and so highly unlikely to get made, because I've now lost count the amount of times a modular idea has got to 10,000 supporters just to be rejected. Overall, it is very good at recreating the modular style that we see from LEGO, but does seem to be quite a basic sort of rectangular building with not much to it that denotes it as a post office. But that's probably because of the neoclassical style it is based on. But again, modular build, probably not going to get made as a set. Next we have The Iron Giant in the Forest by Hakariko24. So this is obviously based on the Iron Giant animated movie and does a very good job at recreating the Iron Giant that we see there, with all its metallic and sharp jagged edges that we see there. I'm very impressed with this build as it seems to do a very good job at recreating this iconic animation with a very limited amount of bricks. So I could see LEGO going for this as an idea, but it depends if they can get IP permission to make it. Next we have Vintage Radio, Listen to Your Favourite Music by Dimex Art. So this is obviously a radio that you can stick your phone into the back of so that it can play music as a radio should do. And I'm just going to say this right now, it's definitely not going to be made, as we've already had very recently a radio design that also lets your phone go into the back to play music. So therefore, pretty much impossible for this set to be made, as we already have one exactly like it. Next we have Snoopy Campfire by Boss of Doz 64. So this is a very simple design of Snoopy sat around a little campfire. It does a very good job at recreating the Snoopy dog and uses a very low amount of bricks to achieve this. I very much so like the design, and I do think this might have a chance at getting through, again if LEGO can get the IP for it. Next we have Sony Walkman by Jimmy DX. So this is based on a Sony Walkman, like the device Star-Lord carries around in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. It does a very good job at recreating the shape and design of both the cassette player and the headphones, and I do like how it appears that each cassette can be loaded into the cassette player like you would with the actual device itself. Can I see LEGO going for this? It's a possibility, as it does seem to fit with the sort of 80s themed ideas that LEGO have been putting out fairly recently. Next we have The Loneliness of the Voyager, NASA's Voyager mission by CuteHackler036. So this is the solar system and the Voyager satellite probe. It is overall a very simple design of the planets just on little sticks in the order that they are, and then the main Voyager build right at the end. It does fit well with the space theme that LEGO have been doing recently. However, it does feel like another planetarium set, and we've already now got the official working planetarium set, so it's probably not going to get made itself. Next we have Tetris Solid by Victor Vey 300. So this is a design based on the classic Tetris game, where you try to complete lines of cubes using the various shapes that you can get. This does seem to be a playable version of the game, with the different blocks being able to slide down into the play area, and overall does a very good job at recreating the game. I can see this being something LEGO might go for, particularly seeing as they have been making more and more video game based sets recently. Next up we have Avatar The Last Airbender by Firecracker. So this is an idea based on Avatar The Last Airbender, as the name suggests, where we have Aang and the gang sat on top of Appa facing off against a Fire Nation person. This idea does a very good job at recreating Appa. I will say it doesn't look as furry as you would expect Appa to be, and this looks a bit more blocky. However, that could just be something LEGO improves on if they decide to make this. Will they make it? I'm not sure. Depends if they can get the license for The Last Airbender. They have made sets for The Last Airbender before, so who knows. Next we have Mallard by Ambient 523. So this is a design of a mallard duck, which is a very common duck in England. This is a very detailed and uses a lot of snot techniques to get all the curves and angles that a mallard duck has. It seems to be very much based around how LEGO Star Wars statues are made, with a main cube body on the inside with the different snot sections attached to the sides. This is a very nice set idea and I would like it to get through. However, it probably uses quite a few more pieces than what LEGO Ideas has been putting out, but that might not necessarily mean that they don't just scale it down a little bit if they decide to make this. Sticking on the water theme, we have Floating Sea Otter by His Brick Materials. So this is obviously a very happy looking otter having a little float down a river scene. This one does a very good job at creating the fur sort of appearance to the otter, using the curved angle pieces to create the impression of wet fur, and overall just looks like a very happy otter enjoying his time, or her time. Again, this is another idea that I would quite like to be made into an actual set, but will it get through? Yeah, I could probably see it having more of a chance than the Mallard, but probably not much more. Next we have Arsenal FC The Invincibles by PCAS. So this is a design based around the Arsenal Stadium, and I'm just going to basically rule this one out quite quickly, mainly because there have been other stadiums that LEGO have been releasing in another theme, and so this will probably rather fit into that theme than into LEGO Ideas itself. But overall, it does a very good job at recreating the front of the stadium. But will it get through? Probably not. Next we have Working River Rapids Ride, Fairground Rafting Coaster by Baron von Baron. So this is a design of a water ride that you would see at a fairground / amusement park, where the minifigures are sat on little rafts that go round and get sprayed by water. From what I recall, there have been quite a few ideas in the past based around this sort of idea, and none of these have ever been made, so will this get through? It doesn't look very likely for it. Probably because of all the other fairground sets that LEGO do for the creative theme. Next we have Bluey by Monkey Scout. So this is a design based around Bluey's house from the TV series Bluey, with all the characters being brick built, and do a very good job at recreating the different characters we see. It also does a very good job at recreating the house, and I could see this one being made into a set, although again I think we have had a few Bluey ideas in the past and none of them have been made. Next we have Downton Abbey Highclere Castle by Bro3. So this is a design of the main building that features in Downton Abbey, with all the main characters in minifigure form. It does appear to just be the front facade of the building rather than the whole building itself, but that would also take up a lot of bricks, and looking at this design, it has also used a fair amount of bricks in itself. This would also require licensing by LEGO to actually be made into a set, so will it get through? Possibly not. Next we have Bob Ross, The Joy of Painting by Brick Abe. So this is based off of the TV series where Bob Ross would paint a painting of a little nature scene and show how to do a painting such as that. This is a very detailed build and does a very good job at recreating Bob Ross's art style that he shows off throughout the series, and does a very good job at creating a scene that Bob Ross would have painted. It does kind of fit into the LEGO Arts theme that has been doing paintings, so will this get through? Possibly not, due to it more fitting into LEGO Arts rather than LEGO Ideas. Next we have Gravity Falls, The Mystery Shack by Mini Bricks Productions. So this is the Mystery Shack from the series Gravity Falls, and features all the details you would come to expect for a design based on this TV show, and includes a vast amount of the characters that featured in the series. It does a very good job at recreating the shack, with a very low amount of pieces used by the looks of it. And seeing as Gravity Falls is starting to come back with the Book of Bill releasing recently, I could see this set being made if there is a new series of Gravity Falls coming out, if that is what the Book of Bill is pointing towards. So I would give this a fairly good chance of being chosen as a set. And the final idea that has got to 10,000 supporters is Coldplay Music of the Spheres World Tour Diorama by Mickey Deng Deng. So this is a stage scene of Coldplay playing music based on one of their tours. This does feel very similar to the BTS idea, which has been made into a set, so it does have that going for it. However, there has also been a lot of Taylor Swift ideas that are similar to this, and none of those have been made. This could also come down to a licensing issue as well, so it's up in the air. But overall, a very simple design that does a very good job at recreating this stage from this tour. So yeah, that is all 35 project ideas that qualified for the second 2024 LEGO Ideas review. Of these ideas, I can see the Gravity Falls idea, the Wallace and Gromit idea, and possibly the Sony Walkman idea as sets that LEGO would choose. But this is just my opinion and will probably be very wrong, as pretty much I've never got a guess correct yet. So yeah, which of these ideas do you think should be made into a set? Let me know in the comments below, and I have nothing more to say other than thanks so much for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.